Another one of the elements of landscape that you need to perfect and practice over and over again is how to handle water and how to handle reflection. And I think that the main thing about water is not to overpaint it. Paint it as little as possible. And you'll see here in this very, very rough little sketch that I've done with a very fat little elephant standing in an island of weed on the Zambezi River. It's a photograph I took. You'll see that my preliminary wash was just streaks of cerulean blue into a very wet wash. And I'm not going to paint the water any further. The water must always reflect the colour in the sky, and it must reflect the light in the sky, so that if there was a big cloud here, of course, obviously the cloud is going to reflect there. If there's a blaze of light here, then a blaze of light here. Reflections always mirror what is going on above. And in some cases, they are a very, very careful mirror image, which this photograph will display to you. I think the water line is somewhere there, but the perfection of the reflection in the water of that mountain is absolutely precise. And if the water is absolutely still, you will get that complete mirror reflection as demonstrated there. Here is another one. This is an African river, and the water line is there in the middle, and because the water is very still, it is reflecting these trees absolutely. Now, this is an example of a landscape not to attempt unless you're quite experienced. The photograph that I'm doing here, you can see is a much, much easier thing, and much easier for you to cope with when you start. The water is rippling a little bit. There must be a wind, because the reflection is not a mirror image. It's quite broken up by rough water, and I will show you how to deal with that. Sometimes, though, the reflection is the subject of the painting altogether. In this painting I did of a buffalo drinking water at the side of a dam or a river. It must be a river, actually, because it's very ripply. There's a real flow in this water. And you can see that the subject of this painting is the reflection. The buffalo is hardly important. The big tonal contrast and the big interest and action is happening in that reflection. It's quite difficult to do. You've got to really, really look very carefully. At this stage you don't need to learn how to do that, but you do need to learn how to reflect an animal in the water, reflect a tree in the water, etc., etc. So I'm just going to show you a few tips now. My main reflection of this little elephant is going to happen in this band of water here. Then there's going to be an area where the water is not reflecting him at all, and then further down here we're going to just have some very broken up reflection suggesting the elephant. Because this is a very long view, the elephant is quite distant. When that happens and the water is very large between you and the subject, because of the angle of your eye observing this elephant, the reflection can stretch down for a long way in the water. If you're looking at something from a higher viewpoint, you will find that the reflection will be shorter and shorter. The higher you're looking down at it, the shorter the reflection will get. But in this case, the reflection is quite long. It's going right down as far as here into the water. Right. I have masked a few ripple lines with my masking fluid across in that section, so that the reflection doesn't come absolutely dense. It will still suggest water with the light catching on some of the ripples. Take exactly the same colour. Don't think, oh, the water's blue, I must add extra blue. It doesn't happen like that. You take exactly the same colour. the light underneath the tummy would not reflect, because the reflection starts from that point. It doesn't start from this point. It starts from there. So the mirror image of the object actually starts from here and would be something like that. It doesn't start from here. So the tummy is not going to show at all. Just going to get the shape in here. And the tail. Little bit of reflection here, and then it becomes very broken up. I think that this is a little bit too dark. I'm going to lift a little up. Get a little bit more tone in here. Very, very rough, but you'll get the idea. The important thing is, when you have a solid shadow reflection like this, is to put mask some lines for the ripple lines. I've also masked a few ripples here, so in a minute we'll take this off and you'll see. It's quite a good idea to soften the edges of a reflection. Don't make them too sharp, because very often the water is chopped up a little. And we'll just soften those edges a bit. Another way of doing the reflection is to pretend there's another elephant here. So we'll put the reflection in. You take a thirsty brush. Take a brush, take all the main water out of it. It's still damp, but it will suck up, and you could pull your brush through your reflection shape, and that will also give you the impression of a little bit of water, a little bit of wind on the water. Just break up the reflection a little. It's another way of doing this. I prefer the masking, it's sharper. And then very often, if the water's a little bit agitated, very often you have to create little ripple lines at the edge of a reflection. Especially in boats, you'll find that the boat shape, the reflection in the water is a little bit broken up. So before it's dry, take your reflection colour and just run your brush through the edge of the reflection to create that broken up edge to the shape. And then the ripple lines, you're trying to suggest water. Ripple lines never go amiss. Try and do them very freely. Sometimes it's quite a good idea to turn your paper this way, because it's easier to keep a flat line coming down towards your tummy than to go across like that. So you can get nice flat ripple lines by going up and down your paper. Just practice that sort of thing, just nice and loose before a medium-sized brush. This is a very rough illustration. It doesn't look like much, but when this masking fluid comes off, you'll see the lovely sharp ripple lines inside that shape.